on this episode of Tell Us a Story.
My book is it's my story, along with anecdotal reasons for all these stories and what I got out of what happened in those experiences.
Find a chair with a seatbelt.
Yeah, with a seatbelt, but with the audio, it's me sharing the story. So instead of you reading it and interpreting what thoughts might be behind all those words, you actually hear them and you get it from me.
Funny is a factor.
Funny is a factor.
Do you still play drums?
I do. I'm a comic. I do comedy, but it's wild because most of my television stuff is all not comedy. A lot of my stuff, the Law and Orders, the Ed, the whatever. So I have Big Hug Productions. I also have a company called Comediation, which is brand new.
When I stopped doing comedy stand-up, I think I realized that I wasn't depressed enough to do stand-up. And that was a heavy realization.
Who's stopping you? Maybe there are little voices in your head.
Your mushy computer.
Self-doubt, exactly.
Welcome to Tell Us a Story, the podcast by Belmont City Press, where entrepreneurs and sales professionals share their journeys, insights, and strategies for success. In each episode, our guests reveal how they've overcome challenges, established their brands, and leveraged their stories to promote their businesses so you can too. I'm Red Hilton, your host for this episode. Today I'm joined by Adam Sietz, who is the founder of AdamSietz.com. So, Adam, tell us a story.
Well, thanks for having me on that, first of all. At AdamSietz.com and a company I have called Big Hug Productions. What we do is we help entrepreneurs and salespeople vanquish self-doubt, also infuse humor into their personal and business life. We do this with the specific purpose of improving the quality of their communications and all of their relationships. I'd say our ideal client is anyone in management, leadership, sales, looking to enhance their team performance, basically to get someone to buy in to what it is you want them to buy in, whether it's your idea, your product, your service, or your opinion. This also is going to help to enhance their team performance. We also help them to trust their own innate abilities and come to know that they could do anything if you really put your mind to it. And this way, they can ultimately feel empowered, hopefully with a smile on their face. And you can discover more about all this stuff at my website, that's AdamSietz.com. And if you spell it wrong, guess what? I got that one too, so don't worry about it. Or AdamSietz.com. But here's the thing. Later on, I'm going to give a giveaway. And you got to make sure it's SIETZ. That's very important. You can also go on that site and you can click contact me on that, or you could even say book time with me. There's a button there now, and you pick whatever time on my schedule works for you, and I'd love to help you in some way. If there's anything, $1's not what drives me. So please come to my site. Tell me how I can help you, and also hopefully I'll help you find your own unscripted success and see that the funny is a factor. There you go.
Ta-da! Ta-da! First of all, not enough people use the word vanquish.
Yeah.
All right. That's absolutely. And two, I'm not over-speaking or being dramatic when I say that you are a character. And talk to me about your personal story and how, everything with Adam Sietz came to be.
Well, it started off when I was a wee little boy. And in second grade, I was getting in a lot of trouble. And consistently in the principal's office. So they said, he needs to be evaluated. So they brought me in the child study team, as they would say. And when they were done, they came out and said, he's brilliant, an IQ off the charts, mental level, and he has severe ADHD. And then proceeded to explain all the issues that will be in my life. Holding down a job is going to be difficult, relationships, competitive sports. No, it's not. So, again, this smart little kid went home and looked at a dictionary and saw deficit, disorder, diagnosis, disabled. I didn't like those things, but that was it. So for years, I thought I was kind of broken. And then eventually I re-diagnosed myself with hyper awareness. Yeah, I got a faster than normal brain is kind of the way I'd say it. In certain ways, it's become a superpower for me. And there are times where it's not so easy, for example, just last night, my wife asked me if I would get her some water while I was going to the kitchen. I said, sure, no problem. And I came back with a banana for me.
Same
so
thing.
That's her life. Those are the kind of things that happen there. But from there, I ended up getting married. I ended up getting divorced. I ended up 424 pounds, miserable, broke, and really unhappy. And once I really got that I'm okay, And that, again, this hyper awareness is really a skill. And I dove into the world of improvisational comedy. My father was a comic, so I've always been around funny people, and it changed my life drastically. But the main thing was really meeting with my father, having me perform, because he had been a performer and he had always wanted me to perform. But again, at my size, I was really not comfortable. And there was one event he was on. He was in the Borscht Belt years ago. He actually made it onto the Ed Sullivan Show with a partner. He and his partner Barry. The thing was Barry Schwartz, Seymour Sites, the Stewart brothers. But that was them. And they brought the act back 40 plus years later for one of the events my mother was putting together, and it still killed. This act was that strong. So now, one time Barry can't make it, and Dad said, "Come on, do the act with me." No, no. I was very big. I was very uncomfortable with myself, just in my own skin, let alone standing on a stage with like 500-600 people for my first time. Not a chance. No way. So he gave up, and then my sisters started, and my mother started, and every single person that was on the crew, like even the guy with the mop, "Hey kid, come on, do the thing for your dad. He'd like you to do." So I did, and I said, "Okay." And we're ready to go. And moments before, it's like I get the nerves start kicking in. Like, when you get on the line with all your friends at the roller coaster, and you're like really cool. Yeah, I'm going on, and go, "Oh man, I don't feel so great. I'm a little nauseous, right? Maybe it's something I ate. You want to bail?" That's what was happening. And I told him, "Dad, I'm shaking physically. I'm sweating. I'm nervous. I don't think this is going to be. I'm going to mess it up." I said, "Kiddo, I love you. Don't worry about it. It's okay. You could go sit down. I got this." Now I'm like, I can't let him down. So I said, "Okay," and we do it. Now he goes up. They introduce me. I come up. I'm shaking so much that I feel everyone could see. So I decide to over exaggerate, like really shake, and I got a laugh. And it was my first laugh. It was like, ooh. A couple of minutes later, we're in it. Like seconds later, 10 seconds, I look, I see this giant audience. The nerves begin to kick in again. And then 15, it's my turn to go. I did my silliness, and they laughed again. And that was it. It was like, ooh, I like this.
It's like a drug.
Slowly, I'm comfortable. We do the whole act, and we finish the act, and he closes the act out with a sweet little, it's like a crooning kind of ending. From the wackiness to soft, and I pulled the mic away, and I ended the act, because he was right. I did know this act. I've seen it my entire life. And the face, his face was just, "Yes, my son is a Stewart brother." And it was amazing, because now here's why I bring this particular story up, because everything changed. Because within less than 28, 30 days, a month later, he died. So if I did not take that moment to say yes instead of stick to my no, who knows where I'd be, because everything changed. About a month later, when he was gone, a month after that, I decided I really enjoyed that performance with him, and I'll never get to do it again. So I looked into putting an ad out and starting my own comedy troupe with zero experience. And I found someone else that had one, and that had an ad in the paper. And at first, my naive young self was like, competition. And then very quickly, I realized, wait, no, there's someone else around here that has the same vision of starting a sketch comedy troupe. And his name was Pat the Vampire Battistini. And he turned me on to the world of improvisation, which I'd never seen before. I knew Bud Friedman's Evening at the Improv. I thought it was the name of a comedy club. I didn't know it was actually an art form that I'd kind of been doing my whole life, because I was always the funny guy at the table in the middle of the story. But this was totally different. I didn't have to have anything prepared. I could just be in the moment and go. And it literally did change my life. And, my father left the company to me, but very shortly after that, I started performing, because we did form a group. We did end up in the back of a library at first, and then we ended up with our own location. We ended up going on national championship events, and we saw how good it could really be. And then we got better and better, and then we actually won the national championship, and they called me a national all-star. And I said, you know what? If I don't try this now, I'm going to hate myself. By the time I turned 40, I was like 30 something. I threw caution to the wind. I moved to New York. I started doing improv in a different way with a long form with Amy Poehler and all these great people at the UCB, a longer form, different form of the short form improv. And again, my life changed. I started booking movies, cartoons, television, video games, Broadway. So again, if you don't ask for what you want, number one, which is he wanted me to perform with him, and he asked, and I said yes. And if you say yes to things instead of saying no, you don't cut yourself off from those opportunities. So my story is a story of like true resilience and overcoming obstacles that people would think you can't do it. Like 424 pounds was not easy to get over, and losing weight is not an easy thing. It is actually simple, but it is not easy. It's math. Who knew? But that's kind
Amen.
of my story. And at this point, I've emptied my bucket list. I've been on Broadway 3 times. I'm on some of the biggest video games of all time and cartoons, and just I've had so much fun. And now, because I've been so fortunate and blessed, I want to bring it to everyone else to get out of their head and trust that they're okay and that they can do things that you can't even imagine that little mushy computer in your cranium can actually pull out. It's amazing what you can do. And I promise you, you can do it just like I did. Because what makes me different? Uh, Nothing. I'm just different, like you're different from me. And that guy's different than him. And everyone's a little different. Nobody knows it. Nobody can see what's different sometimes, like with ADHD or like depression or uh, dyslexia. You can't like say, oh, wow. Oh, I see red. Red is dyslexic. I can tell. But how do you know? Nobody knows. Somebody knows what's going on inside when that hyper aware brain is firing. It's so difficult to just stay on one thing or not impulse control them. Yeah, 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 yeah. Which is a good thing. I want to speak, and it's a good thing because I do talk a lot. But, that's my
I
story,
haven't even
pretty much.
noticed.
Yeah, you do.
First of all, mushy computer in your cranium has now been added to my vernacular. So thank you. Absolutely. And with
It really
Vanquish.
is. It's
With
amazing.
Vanquish.
And Vanquish, I call it in the brain. I call it my brain's operating super system. Your boss, and the
Mm.
boss is kind of what runs the show. So you think
Acronyms are free, guys. Acronyms are free. All right.
that they are. I got a few.
Talk to me about adamsites.com. So I told you, you're a character, literally and figuratively. Getting to adamsites.com. What is it that you do? How is it you help people? Who you serve? Give us everything.
Well, I mean, adamsites.com, again, Adam SIETZ.com is the correct way. And again, as if you spell it wrong, they still got you covered.
It'll be in the
But
show notes. It'll be in the show
when you get
notes.
down there, we see, first of all, I'd love you to come and say hello. Number one, that's the first thing, and just say hello and see if there's something I could help you with, or you just want to share a joke, or you want to hear a joke. I don't care. Come out, reach, and say hello. Cost you nothing. Uh, Number two, what you'll see is I've been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. My father was an entrepreneur. He started his business, then he started another business, and after he was gone, I took his business for a little while and changed it into something completely different. So when you go on, now it was Sports Entertainment Media Corporation became Big Hug Productions. So I have Big Hug Productions. I also have a company called Comediation, which is brand new. I've really just launched the idea. I haven't really done much to it, but it's the idea of taking comedy and mediation and smashing them together, taking your conflict and turning them into comedy in a nice way where, also just people who are very uncomfortable communicating something that's really it's going to create an issue or a conflict, and you're really nervous about the person might be really dominant in the whatever it is. We can help you with that also. That's what comediation does. And Improvolutions is helping companies do workshops, team bonding, creative development, consulting, writing, animators, which are like just people that go to parties and show up and nobody knows who this person is, and they kind of make a little, not a scene, but it definitely
A scene.
becomes the topic of conversation. Who is that guy or whatever? Things like that. So I've been very blessed to do lots of things. My goal today is to get out there and speak and do speaking engagements and workshops wherever I can to get people to understand that, like me, there's nothing you really can't do if you really put the time, effort, take accountability for why it hasn't been done yet, and all of these different things, and a bunch of the other acronyms that I have. These things help me and help others. So on my site, again, those are the kind of things you can find. There are a lot of different things. I used to have all the things listed, but it's too much. So basically, again, if there's something you need help with, some thought or anything, reach out and ask. That's what you can find in me, as a friend.
Okay. Well, there you go. Can you speak about ADHD and salesmanship? Because you've been in entertainment, but really you've been a salesman.
Mhm. Absolutely. Well, my whole business world started out selling shoes and Kenny shoes. Then I sold stuff at Sam Goody, and then I'm going to be a chef. I want to be. So I started working at Roy Rogers, cutting up stuff, and then I was a salad guy, and eventually this it kind of all changed when I started performing. But the salesmanship was still there because again, as you're auditioning, I'm selling me. And again, as when I
100%.
said earlier that the book Unscripted Success with Improvisational Thinking, learn how to sell it, whether it's your idea, your product, your service, your opinion. It really, because we are all selling something at some point, and at the same point we're all performing at the same point. And what's a blessing is I learned from a master how to sell. And when it came to selling, the ADHD bonus is uh, my most successful method of selling is called I call it the scenic route. Instead of trying to make this deal the expressway, got to make the deal, got to make the deal, sell, sell, sell. You're caught up in your head. It's all about the deal. To me, what really helps is making a relationship and communicating with someone brand new that might want what I have. But if I don't call them, they will never know it even exists. So I'm going to give them an opportunity to get what I have to offer. So it's never a fear going in, picking up the phone or walking in became very comfortable because a no, especially as an actor, a no is next, because they're all no's. Literally, you do
Mm,
100 auditions, 90 of them will be no. Those 10 will
hmm
be enough to make a living.
mm.
So that's kind of there. But that scenic route is being able to connect with someone. One thing that I always find is when I know I have a meeting or a call with someone, I do the best I can to get every bit of information I possibly could suck out of the internet or anywhere, their website, to find something that we can connect on, something that makes sense that I have a connection. Like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Or, oh, I have 3 children. My kid's from FSU. Whatever it is that you can find a way to connect that has nothing to do with your actual call. This is how you begin the connection. This is how you guys become friendly. This is how people love to buy things. Oh, yeah. Nobody likes to be sold. So when you give them an opportunity to say, hey, oh, and by the
Amen.
way, this is what I do. And I thought, this might be something that, well, if not now, maybe at some point you'd like to know we exist. And this is kind of what happens. So that's where the being able to go left, right, or not necessarily being able to, not having the ability not to go left, right, up, down, and all that has really been very helpful in salesmanship. Uh, I was a very good salesman. I still am. I mean, I feel very confident that if whatever it is, whatever the widget is that needs to be sold, I can sell it if it's something I believe in. If I don't believe in it, not a chance. I
Certainly.
won't put that time in. My wife is the same way. She's a great salesperson. And right now she sells people's food. She runs a cafe and a catering place. So she knows how to, you just came in for some coffee. Have you tried the blah, blah, blah? She's the upseller of all time. Just amazing. But
Now you've
that's
given
what
her
I'd say about
secret
80.
away.
No, hey, it's all good. She it's
It's
because it's all authentic. It's real. She won't give you something. It's like there's certain places where you walk in and go, here, taste this. And they're like pushers. They're like junkies. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, why would you do that? Now I gotta buy that. So yeah, she's very good at that.
so your ADHD you feel has been your superpower. It has helped you achieve.
It has, once I accepted it, because for years, knowing that I was ADHD and I was a deficit, a disorder, and disabled and broken, deficit is less than is a perfect is the definition, and that's exactly how I felt for years. I was not confident myself. I was always in the background. I played in the band, but I could sing. I would never sing. I played in the drums in the back, and drums in my way, cymbals. No, nobody could see me. But now I could talk to one person or 10,000 people and feel the butterflies will be there. That means I'm alive. It's okay. But I know that what's going to come out of my mouth is true, is worthy. And what's cool is also having the years and years of performance from a stand-up stage, getting heckled from doing speaking engagements where I'm doing a speaking engagement to a large group of people, or again just going to a small business and helping them find their funny inside. Because again, when you can incorporate a smile or laughter into anything that you do, it's just much more enjoyable for those who are participating in whatever it is that's going on.
Funny is a factor.
Funny is a factor.
Do you still play drums?
I do. In fact, what's great is I got my son Noah, a bass, my son Benjamin, a guitar. We have a keyboard. I have a PA system. I have literally, this is something I always wanted. Again, one of those bucket lists. I always wanted a room that is already, if you could play an instrument, I have the instrument, number one, and it's plug in, turn on, we're off and going. So I
When
have
did your
everything.
neighbors stop talking to you?
They love it. They love it. I've got two neighbors, and fortunately, we don't suck. None of them are like. So what's wild is they don't touch those instruments. It's all drums. They're all playing the drums now,
Yeah.
and now they're all gone except for one. My baby Ben is still here, and he just started a band. They just performed, and what's wild, he didn't even tell me. He said, "Oh, we're performing in the Rock the Point." I'm like, what are you doing? I'm playing the drums. What are you song? What songs are you playing? You'll see. They were doing Beatles songs, and I was like, Beatles songs. My 15-year-old is playing. It was again. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Just so cool. But yeah, no, I do, and they all do. All kids play the drums now too. So,
What is the best advice that you would give to somebody who, I guess, wants to follow in your footsteps, that wants to get out there and, perform or be a part of something or get in front of people, and they've been sort of given a diagnosis that they feel is a setback? What do you think? What do you wish you knew?
well, sometimes it's not even a diagnosis. Sometimes it's our own self-doubt, our own self-thought, that inner critic that kicks our butt all the time and holds us back from those offers and opportunities that are sitting in front of your face that we just miss because we're too caught up in the stuff. The stuff is not what's going to get stuff done. Being in the now is where it all happens. So the best advice I can give to anyone is stay focused on what's happening in front of you. When you start finding your mind going into places that are upsetting you, anxiety, fear, disgust, anger, all these things come up. And a lot of the times it's because you're thinking about something that brings those things up. And it's a lot of the times it has nothing to do with this moment right now. It has to do with something that happened before that you have no power over. You can be mindful over stuff that's happened in the past and understand how to do better next time. But when it comes to tomorrow also, it's not here. Yes, again, you could have some forethought, but man plans, God laughs. We've heard that before. I didn't write it, but it's so true because with improvisational thinking and that mental agility that comes with learning these skills, improv scares people. The thought process of
Amen.
thinking like an improviser is what I'm trying to get out there, because when people see like really good improv, and that's what's sad, because so much improv that people see their first initial introduction, if it's not whose line is it anyway, it's one of their friends that just did a class and would like you to come and see us perform, and their level of performance is a group of guys and girls that have just finished a class and are performing. It's not horrible, but it's not the level of like a UCB or a Comedy Sports or Chicago City Limits,
Sure.
where you're just blown away with what's happening. So that's another thing. Take an improv course wherever you go.
Mhm.
Eventually, I'm going to put something together
I have
online.
one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
That's such a bonus, because when I met Red, I had no idea that she was also from the world of improv. Because once you're in, you're
You're
in.
well,
It's a
and improv for business communications, it's one of those things where we don't recognize how much of our lives are improvised. And when you say someone's afraid of improv, and it's the thought of improv, because
yeah.
everything is improvised.
Everything, every
Everything.
conversation. But you have no idea
Mm.
what I'm going to say until I say it. And then it triggers something in your head. And then you say something and it triggers my reaction and so on. And improv, when you're on the sidelines and you're thinking something, ooh, I got a funny idea. Wah, wah.
No.
You're not seeing what's going on. And this is why once this started clicking for me, I started realizing, wait, this kind of works all around everything. When I'm not
Yes.
thinking about the funny or something and I'm watching what they're doing and something happens or something is said, offer, boom, click, go. And that's the main thing also, is trusting yourself, trusting that gut instinct that tells you exactly what you need to know. So often, I like to equate the angel and the devil, like in Animal House. I remember the movie Animal House.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
scene where the guy's there and the girl's passed out, and angel, oh, look at her, she's so angelic. You need to make sure she gets home safely. The other one, but look, she's out cold. Isn't she hot? All these things come to me. The angel is the answers you get from the questions you're asking from the universe or God, if you prefer.
Mm.
And the devil is when we hear that and we choose to maybe want to manipulate the answer and control our control to manipulate it in a way where it works where we wanted it to work, not necessarily the way it's supposed to or should or the right way.
Mm.
So I kind of, when I say vanquish self-doubt, it's also that inner critic. He could take a hike or she could take a hike, and just again stay focused on now. Now is where it's all happening. That's where the happiness is. It's not in tomorrow. You can't schedule it. It's like a hiccup or a laugh or a sneeze. It just happens, and you want to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone's doing to be happy. Money to be happy. Food to be happy. Love to be happy. Sex to be happy. All these things. It's again all these things to get happy. And the key to happiness is to give yourself more opportunities to be in the happy state of being, because that's what it is. It's not a location. But if you do, and if you're focused on that, you'll see those offers and opportunities for you to be happier. And that's where I'm at. I'm a very happy person. In general, people are like, why are you so bubbly? Oh, God, I'm happy. I'm in a good place.
Talk to me about resilience.
Resilience, again, a perfect example. If I can lose 170 pounds, and let me tell you something, I did get surgery. I had surgery and I lost some weight. It really helped. But then it didn't help anymore. It stopped. And it really took me actually putting on a fitness tracker. I will not put any brands out there. But
We're not sponsored.
Right, there you go, exactly. But I put it on and I started tracking the food and seeing the reality and that accountability of, oh, okay, if I'm going to eat that, then this is what's going to happen. What happened? How did I gain the weight? Well, that's how you gain the weight. It's as simple as that. Mathematics. So I lost the question. I don't know.
Oh, it was just the resilience.
Yeah, resilience. That's it. So again, with me, it was turning this. Oh, you know what? Actually, how do you like this? I just had this here. This is something I sell them. I don't have them even on the line, but I just made them. If you see, oh, maybe it won't. Oh, will it work with the camera there? You know what?
That's all right.
There you go. Okay.
It's a podcast. Don't worry about it.
Do and nothing. And what it is it's a switch. The light switch on your chest. And this is kind of what happened to people say, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Or you could change in an instant. It really is true, because it's when I chose to really turn on the switch. And the shirt has a light switch with on and off. And it says it's in on position. And above it says do. And underneath it says nothing. So when it's in the off position, nothing is going to happen. When it's in the on position, you can do what you need to do and things will get done. So I write underneath, turn on your switch. That's kind of it. And that's really what I'd love for people to understand. That it has nothing to do with anyone else but you. You have the power to make you a better person, even if you don't think so. Today, that's okay. Tomorrow, you'll think a little better. And then the next day, a little bit better. A friend of mine, his name is Peter Shank, brilliant guy. He likes to say, you know what? You don't have to be the best at anything. You just have to be a little better than the next guy. And in business wise, and that's very interesting because it's kind of true. And if you want to be better, be better. Nobody's stopping you. Who's stopping you? Maybe the little voices in your head. And
your mushy computer.
Self-doubt, exactly. Your boss. Make your boss your friend. Work with your boss.
What is a misconception that people have about, acting?
That it's so easy. You get, and that you get paid all this money. Well, you know what? I don't know who said it, but it's like, you know what? No, I get paid to sit around and wait and to be turned down over and over and over again. The actual work, I do that for free. That's the way I like to look at it.
But they're paying for the time in between until they accept you again.
Yeah, it's tough because people are afraid of acting, number one, because it's about emotion and feelings. And here is acting summed up very simply. I think I kind of came up with this, but if I didn't, whoever put it in my head years ago. But the idea is that acting is make believe that the audience is willing to believe. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't put it out there, and if it sucks, bad acting is bad acting. People know it. Union actors and non-union actors, it used to be a major difference. Now it's not as much of a difference. There are very talented people out there, and my entire industry has changed. But like I would say something like compassion or empathy as an actor is really almost it's a byproduct. It's not even something that originally I'm like, oh, I'm going to be. No. As I start experiencing people and through my whole entire life, banking voices, whether it's in an accent from somewhere or an age difference or whatever it is, accent, all these things have been banked from people and things I've met. When I do a lady like this, it's because I love Monty Python and I liked it. So, but those things that tap in and they go, but the thing is it's not so simple because you really do have to get to an emotional state and a feeling and exude it where you believe it's for real, where it's not. It's make believe. It's all make believe. But that's a thing. So I find that one thing that's really helpful is actors and performers have an ability to look at something a little differently and understand what might be behind it. So like those people that make you nuts, whether they might even be your own relatives, and you don't have a choice but to have to spend time with them. You could still love them. You could still hate them. It doesn't matter what you choose. But the truth is you should accept them. And once you understand who they are, what they do, how they're going to do it, they're going to do it again. It's going to upset you again and again and again. And you go, you know what? That's really not me. It has nothing to do with me. That's that person's stuff that they either haven't dealt with or have a need for ego and status and celebrity and fame. Oh, I wanted it when I was younger. I wanted it. My father was in the television production business. We did award shows and coaches shows and highlight shows and pageants and variety shows and all these celebrity. I got to meet a lot of these cool people and learn at a very early age that there's no difference from them and my father or you or me. They put on their pants, they cry, they get sad, they go to the potty. All the different things we all do. But that's the thing. It really is helpful to just accept who you are, be yourself, let go, and just be. That's kind of my whole advice on everything. And what we were just talking about.
And acting and compassion and
exactly. It's able because I'm able to see, like when I see someone who's like doing, like acting like ridiculous. What are you doing? What are you thinking? The common sense or whatever. I could now, after experiencing it, and sometimes I'll even, if it's someone, I'll try to help. I'll say, hey, is there something? And then I'll learn and understand. And again, bank it. So when I need to express something that you will feel, or if I need to cry, which is so rare, I'm a comedy. I do comedy. But it's wild because most of my television stuff is all not comedy. A lot of my stuff, the Law and Orders, the Ed, the whatever it is, they're serious kind of acting, which blew me away. Wow, I'm really an actor. Who knew?
When I stopped doing comedy stand up, it was sort of, I think I realized that I wasn't depressed enough to do stand up. And that was a heavy realization that tapping into what is funny is really exploring emotions that most people don't want at the forefront.
Absolutely.
So there are a lot of heavy emotions that we talk about and bringing it to light. But yeah, that was when, that was a heavy realization.
As you learn the comedy and meet all the different comics and you see the different styles, that people like a Jerry Seinfeld, who he just likes to say things that are observational, that you could see that you're like, oh wow, that's very clean. Jim Gaffigan, very clean, very funny material. Then you go to Louis C.K. He's not doing material like you would use. It was more like stories and odd stuff that take a long time, but the payoff is strong, like Janine Garofalo and that crap. Or you get people like Carrot Top and the guys who do the one-liners. It's a small world, but I wouldn't want to carry it. Stephen Wright. There's one line. There's all different kinds of different things to set up the punchline. I was very fortunate. My kind of comedy, I did a lot of impressions. I would do characters that don't belong. If they're like Goodfellas, the movie Goodfellas, instead of Joe Pesci, Grover from Sesame Street was almost cast. And so, what do you mean I am funny? What, like funny, haha? Am I here to amuse you? And then maybe I'd curse as Grover and people get, oh my God, oh, that's so funny. But I did Harvey Firestein as Dirty Harry. It's a 44 Magnum, sweetheart. It's the most powerful man gun known to handcuff. Make my bidet.
And I always say I'm the straight man. If we're a team, you and I hit the road, I'm the straight man. I think nobody will argue that. And I was very much a fan of Stephen Wright growing up.
Love him. He's still around. He's still killing it. He's funny.
It's just
the simple. There's a guy named Mitch Hedberg, passed away years ago. I believe he was a drug addict, and drugs took him away from us. But this guy, he was really strange, and his method of speaking was really bizarre.
Yeah.
And he would say things like, "I wish my name was Brian," because sometimes people will look at it as the word brain and think I'm smarter than I am. Things like that, like odd things that are just so out there. But those the other great comics, there's so many. Shimo, all the you've seen a bunch in your day, they've all. It's cool when you actually get to meet them and work with them and talk to and spend time with your idols. Richard Belzer, I loved Richard Belzer when I was younger, and then I started working with the National Lampoon, and I did the National Lampoon Radio Hour for a few years, and he was there, and we became like friends. He would bring me along like at Caroline's and have me open for him at Caroline's, and then Billy Burr and all these people that are now. It's so cool to see the guys that I started out with all doing. A lot of them are doing really well and also enjoying their life and having fun. The stand-up world it's tough. It's tough unless you're doing corporate work or you're a national headliner. To make a really strong living is not as easy. And this I stopped years ago because the travel and that stuff is just not for me. I'm a homebody. I love my kids. I love my wife. I like to be home. I've been able to literally go to every single game, every show, every match. I've never missed one.
You're not depressed enough to do stand-up.
No, that's right. I was. And it's so wild that you say that, because when I started doing improv and stand-up, I was beyond depressed. I was really not happy. And I wasn't that good at it either. It took a while. But it's true. It's a way to express and get the things out that are in there, and also to help others to see the things that we get so caught up on. Sometimes a humorous side. I've seen people tell jokes on cancer that are hilarious. I actually knew someone that did Holocaust joke. Are you kidding? Oh, but it was very inappropriate in certain world, but it was a funny setup punchline. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous.
Moving on, Adam, before we're canceled. Moving on. So your website, talk to me. What's there? Why would someone want to go and visit your website? Talk to me about your website.
Well, again, to my website, you could, first of all, you get in touch with me, and you could find the other businesses that I have: Big Hug Productions, Improvisations, Comediation. But in general, I want to go out and spread this word wherever I can and get other people to learn it and share it, and them spread the word. And by doing this, hopefully a little bit of the world can change and get better, and people could feel better about themselves, which is really, that's what holds us all back, is not feeling good, not being happy with ourselves, our situation, our life. Then change it.
It's important.
Work on it. It's not as easy as it might be, but it actually is easy. It's just not simple.
Share some information about your book.
My book is it's my story, along with anecdotal reasons for all these stories and what I got out of what happened in those experiences, what value I got, and how I was able to turn those into something that actually helped out. Because so many people get caught up in the mistakes that they make, and that's the way you learn not to make them again and how to go a different direction.
Amen.
So coming to my website is hopefully it'll be a breath of fresh air. There's some funny little videos, nothing special. But again, it's click on the book time with me and do it. Say hello. I talk to anyone and everyone that wants to. My phone number's on there too. You could call me. It's my own number. So.
And your book, it's stories, but what else? You also have the audio?
I did. That's true. Thank you for reminding me. It just was finished as an audiobook also, so you can get it on Audible. And what's cool about that is
how long does it take you to read the book?
It's to read the book. Well, the audiobook is 5.5 hours.
Ooh.
5.5 hours. But what's cool is I wrote it. I remember reading Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code and saying, wow, how cool. 101 chapters, like 4 pages, 3 pages, 2 pages, 7 pages. But each one is like, I used to say you could read a bit while you take a shit. you can, nothing too long. Nothing is too long where you can't stop when that piece is done. Because again, as an ADHD hyper-aware poster child, you can imagine it's going to go left, right, up, down, left, right, and certain things that combine that don't, or their thoughts and muses and things that I felt are worthy to share.
Find a chair with a seatbelt.
Yeah, with a seatbelt, but with the audio, it's me sharing the story. So instead of you reading it and interpreting what thoughts might be behind all those words, you actually hear them and you get it from me. And I also had some fun with it. There's a lot more fun because of the audio ability that I can do different things on my own audiobook and have some fun with it. So
the book is called Unscripted Success. Hit me with the rest of it.
Unscripted Success with Improvisational Thinking, the secrets of how to sell it. Whatever it is your idea, your product, your service, or your opinion. Incorporating the funny into it is really helpful. In fact, in my book is a chapter called What is Funny? And that's what I did. I took up that chapter and I pulled it out and I expanded substantially. So it has nothing to do with the fat guy, the ADHD guy, nothing to do with any of that. This is just called, it's the funny is a factor. And what I'd love to do is I just did a summit. Actually, I just did 3 summits. And what I did is I created a giveaway by taking that book, which you could buy it on Amazon. I think it's 10 or 20 bucks. I don't know. But don't. You could go get it for free. Go to adamsietz.com. That's Adam, SIETZ.com/summit giveaway. And it'd be my pleasure for you to download the book for free. And it's The Funny is a Factor. And it helps you understand what is funny. Exactly. Well, let's think. I put it down, the law of 3, the opposites, exchanging, over-exaggeration, self-deprecation, roasting. There's so many different ways and things to find and mine that funny out of everyday things. The setup and punchline is such a simple thing that people can understand. All you got to do is find a setup, and then you take the time to write a bunch of punchlines. You only need one. For example, I wrote something. I was very fortunate when I grew up. You hear being born with silver spoons in your mouth? Mine were disposable. We had money. My dog had another dog to lick. I mean, we had money. We had a bidet in the house. First time I went to the public park, I got kicked out for washing my butt in the water fountain. We had money. One after another. My parrot spoke 3 languages. My swimming pool was filled with Perrier. We had a giant lime on the slide. That one, some are good, some are bad. And when you're all done, you pick what works. And if you can, 3 are great. 1 is all you need. Find those things. The book will help with that. That's the funny is a factor. adamsietz.com/summit giveaway.
We will have a link in the show notes, and I expect there'll be a stampede.
I'd love it. Hey,
you'll hear like, and it's everyone downloading your book. Adam, what is your Monty? As you know, Monty is our mascot here at Belmont City Press, and he's sort of a beacon of all things inspirational or, a little lesson learned or a mantra that we sort of carry with us. What's your Monty that our listeners can learn something from you with today?
Let go, just be, say yes more than you say no. You always have the opportunity to say no once you've actually experienced and see. You could politely decline and ask for what you want. You might actually get it.
Amazing.
That'd be my Monty.
That is your Monty. I love it. I'm going to steal it. Are you ready for our, I feel like this whole thing has been a rapid fire session, but are you ready for the rapid fire session coming the other way?
Bring it. I'm ready.
I'm going to give you 2 choices. You tell me which one speaks to you. I'll let you know if you're right or wrong.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right, good. And it's completely based in fact. And by fact, I mean my opinion. All right.
Works for me.
Singing or dancing?
Singing.
Okay. Books or audiobooks?
Audiobooks.
We don't even have to ask. Comedies or thrillers?
Comedy.
Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Okay. I feel like there's only one answer.
Yeah.
Do you like winter or summer?
That's a toss-up. That's like a 50-50 right there. Okay. I lived in South Florida and I moved back to New York because I did miss those seasons. So that's kind of a 50-50. I'm sorry. I cannot honestly give you a sincere one or the other.
Do you do skiing or snowboarding?
I don't.
I don't either.
But I do throw snowballs and I
Right.
make snow angels.
Yeah, I think that's a sport actually. So,
Absolutely.
are you more Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook.
Thank you. That is
I'm
the
old.
correct answer. Yeah, me
That's
too.
what it is. Yeah.
I'm not learning something else. I'm absolutely not.
No, no,
Um,
my Facebook is really all my kids, stuff like that. And me documenting stuff that I want to remember later on that I'll forget if I don't put it somewhere. That's kind of
like your address, your phone number.
it. Right.
Are you Apple or Android? Speaking of old.
I'm Apple now. I was Android for years. I'm on a PC though. I am on a PC computer,
Oh, I don't
but
have a
my phone,
laptop.
yeah,
I
my
don't I
laptop.
have a PC, that's it,
No,
and an Android.
my laptop is an HP, and it's funny because it has the HP and I have the Apple sticker that you get with your iPhone right next to it. So
I
I'm a both.
I have a desktop and an Android phone. I am ready for the nursing home. Just let me know when the
I
car is
gave up
coming
the
for me.
desktop years ago. The idea that I could have my desktop wherever I want is
No,
amazing.
no,
I've always had a laptop ever
absolutely
since.
not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Card games or board games?
Card games and
Okay.
magic tricks. Because
Oh,
when there's card games, I can throw out some magic. I
yeah,
love them.
sometimes know your audience, maybe not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would you rather go to a museum or an art gallery?
Museum.
Okay. All right, I'll allow that. Um, do you like a late breakfast or an early breakfast or a late brunch? Like when do you like to
Brunch.
brunch?
Brunch, no
But what
doubt.
about
Yeah.
brunch earlier in the day? Like, would you eat it at breakfast? Like, I feel if brunch was in the morning really early, that would be like that's a perfect dovetail. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I like a good breakfast. I let my
mm,
wife makes pancakes that are like homemade pancakes that are it's from her the way she Mimi they're Mimi's pancakes, but Melissa has made her own and it's amazing, real good, yummy.
I think brunch should be celebrated more.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
we should
Yeah,
let's get on that. Someone will
yeah.
listen to
We're
us.
we just had a great brunch in San Juan last week with my kids, and we wanted to go for a brunch before we left, and
Hmm.
we got it great. Pio Bello is what it was called. If you ever in San Juan.
I'm sure if we mention your name, they'll remember. Would you rather go on a roller coaster or a Ferris wheel?
Now, roller coaster by far. Years
Okay,
ago, not a chance. That was
really?
again one of those big moments when you get on it, and I actually did it because I wasn't kidding when it's like, guys, I'm really nauseous. That happened. They're 21, like, wimp, come on, come on. I'm like, okay. There's the big bad wolf where your legs are actually hanging. You're hanging from above, swinging up, down, circles. I was scared, but in the halfway through, I'm like, ah! It was glorious. What an amazing feeling. And I can't believe I ripped myself off for 20 plus years of not ever being on a roller coaster. Now I
No,
love it.
I made a scene on the Barnstormer at Disney World. May not be able to go back there, and I can't do the Ferris wheel either. But it's like one's over quickly, and one is a little bit slower. I'm a no on both. I'm out on both
Well, the
actually.
Wonder Wheel in Coney Island is pretty cool because it actually moves too, and
No,
you could
absolutely not.
swing it. Yeah, no,
Absolutely not. In what
no,
universe is that
no way.
acceptable?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Okay, moving on. I'm gonna have
Mm-hmm.
nightmares tonight. Are you ready for our guest to guest question? As you know, the guest before you left behind a question for you to
Oh,
answer
cool. Yeah.
during our little broadcast here, a little podcast. Your guest to guest question is: what has been your best learning experience in your life?
My best learning experience was learning that I am funny, that I actually am
Looks on
funny, and
everything,
that
you know.
that I can take the stuff that has over the teacher said, you're never gonna how are you gonna make a, if you're always joking around, you're always making something. Yeah, you got it. Well, you know what? It turned out that that was kind of it. Was understanding and learning that that if I just trust what comes out of my mouth, I'll get the laughs when I need them. And I'd have to say that's probably it. Was the thing that really made the biggest impact was getting that. Wow, they're right. People have been telling me for years, and I guess I am to the point where me and my partner were selected by the government, a project that they were doing on AI, trying
Mm.
to teach AI how to be funny. And
See,
they were searching, and we were very fortunate that they were able to bank that we did have the pedigree of funny. So little things like that is like that's really what helped. Is it changed my life
so you're
realizing
the
that.
reason that AI can tell jokes.
No, actually, we bailed on the project because we started finding it was nonlinear thinking is really one of the main things, and they started asking questions that were like weapons based and military. It was just kind of really interesting kind of conversations, and my partner was not comfortable with it, and he kind of brought the deal to the table, and then we kind of just walked away from it. And who knows?
Might have been a good decision.
Yeah, I
I
think
always
so.
tell the story when I was younger, how I got my start essentially in doing stand-up is my therapist suggested I do stand-up.
Well, she was very smart.
Yeah,
Or he
well,
was very smart.
he,
It's true. If you could get up there, it's such an amazing feeling when you get one that hits. It's just like golf.
yeah.
Golf is not the most fun sport in the world, but if you hit a ball and you hit it clean,
Oh, absolutely. I hit it 100 yards and
it,
straight. But my therapist would spend our entire sessions laughing. And he's like, you
yeah.
need to take this on the road. And I'm like, is this helping me? Like, am I getting
I,
help here?
well, I mean, you know what? It did. I guarantee it did. And when you went out and you did it, you got up there, you got the laughs, you learned more improv, and everything became easier. For me, it just becomes easier because the conflict is I don't really have much of it because I'm able to kind of work my way through and find a way to shine a light from the other perspective, maybe. So instead of battling, we could come together.
That's the improv.
Yeah,
That's the
really
improv,
helpful.
100%. All right,
Absolutely.
website. What are we looking for there? Talk, remind us about your book, and where are we finding you on social media?
Again, Adam Sietz, SIETZ.com, or AdamLee.love, or Adam Sietz, SIE or EI. They're still going to get me there, but SIETZ /summit giveaway for your giveaway. You could call me. The number's there also. It's 917-972-KAKA, just to let you know, 5252. My book, Unscripted Success, you could find it. You go to unscripted-success.com, and then I'll actually know where it's coming from different ways. So, or you can just go to Amazon and buy it there. It is there. And again, that's it. Yeah, AdamSietz.com. Yeah, call me, say hello. We'll see what's going on.
If I gave you 60 seconds to tell us a story, what would the world learn from you?
What they learned from me is that I'm kind of silly, and I'm also very sweet. I do know this. I know I'm kind, I'm gentle, and this all happens because I live my life in the now, and I do it kind of based in trying to put smiles on everyone's face, including myself. So that's kind of it. The stories-wise, I got a bunch of them. There's a fun story in there about Petey the dog. It's a fun story. We were literally, my brother Jamie and I were on the ground laughing so hard and just blown away by this experience. And it was communication from one dog to another dog that was so clear. It was clear, the different species of being, but the communication was very clear. That's
Petey the dog in
Petey the dog.
Success.
It's in Unscripted Success.
Look for it. I appreciate your time. It's extremely valuable, and I hope I honored that here today.
You sure did.
To our listeners, if you have a story to share, visit tellasastorypodcast.com. If you're an aspiring author, a seasoned business owner, or looking to elevate your personal brand, visit BelmontCityPress.com for expert advice on writing your own success story. Trust the next chapter because you are the author. Now, tell us a story.